Welcome to Visual Journaling for the Advent season. This is session 1, and I'll be working in my, I believe this is an 8 by 10, 8 by 11 journal. Whatever paper you have is good enough, even if it's a scrap paper. It's the opportunity to sit, to meditate for a bit on what the season means to you. And each week I'll be focusing on a different word that goes with the Advent season. So today I'm going to be focusing on hope. And this will be 2 parts. I'm going to be doing a little bit of writing, or calligraphy, I guess you might call it. It's not exactly calligraphy. It's cheating calligraphy, I guess. I don't know. And then drawing meditation. So I'm going to be starting with the writing, and I'm going to be using a Uniball Signo pen. They're just a nice gel roller pen that gives a nice line. So the verse that we're going to be illustrating or illuminating today is Romans 15, verse 13. Now may the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, that you may abound in hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. So we're going to go ahead and write that out. You're writing it in your handwriting. And then we're going to use some lettering techniques to give it a calligraphy look. So, I'm going to use, I'm thinking, because the rest of the illustration part is going to be a candle. So I think my candle will end up going here on this part of the page, so my words will be here on this section. And I'm going to be writing in cursive, but if you want to hand letter, traditional hand lettering, regular letters, that's fine. So now may the God of hope fill you with all joy and I think about where I want to put that. Peace in believing. I before E. That you may abound in hope. By the power of the Holy Spirit. And then I like to put the verse at the end. Romans 15, 13. So the trick to the calligraphy part is to take all of your downstrokes. So everywhere I went, made a down. And I'm just going to thicken that line. And sometimes I get a little picky and I have to fix a different line. And I like to retrace so I remember what is down and what is And so this is just the meditative act of going through each letter. It's an opportunity to say and think on each word. And for some people, when you're doing this, you might make a rule of always doing the same side. So always to the left of the downstroke or always to the right of the downstroke. I will confess that I am not that kind of picky about it. And for the sake of time, I'm probably not going to finish all of my lettering right now. I will probably do a couple more lines and then transition to the candle. Okay, so I'm gonna pause in completing my letters for the moment and transition to the candle. So for the candle, I'm going to sketch with a pencil. I'm just going to use a regular number 2 pencil. And then I have a number of different things here. Might work a little impulsively, I'm not quite sure. So some of the things I have. These are my water-soluble markers, so good Crayola marker, washable. This one is a Tombow water-based marker. These are gel pens that are not water-based, so but they got stored in here. Oh, and then the Flare, Papermate Flare. So I'm probably going to focus on these. And I will be working, when I work with color today, I'll be working with purples. I also have a couple of water-soluble colored pencils, and then I have some regular colored pencils as well. So purple is traditionally found to be with the peace candle, week 1's peace candle. And while I don't have an alternative color, might be blue, and while I don't have a purple candle today, I do have a little tea light that I'm going to just light. If you do choose to work with a candle, please make sure that you monitor it at all times and that it is in a safe place. I just dipped my match in my water, so I'm just going to pause for a moment to take in the light. The way it moves. Let's see if I can bring this for an angle here. The center of the candle being this shimmering color, almost transparent, but with just a little bit of color, and then that glow of the fire. So I'm going to be working with the candle as the image to illuminate our writing. Okay. So for this candle, I'm going to do a pillar style candle and put it in a some kind of small base. So for candles, I like to just start with a horizontal line, and I want to sketch lightly, and then I'm going to make a parallel horizontal line beside it. And because I want to play with the flame, I'm going to bring it down a little bit, and I'm going to put an ellipse, that oval ellipse shape between the 2 parallel lines. Right? And then down at the bottom, if I bring a curved line that is, quote, parallel to this one, right, that will help to give it a rounded look without even having gotten any color on it yet. And then I'm just bringing it around, and because I want it to be in a holder, it's going to stop at the edge of the candles, right? Instead of going all the way around. You might play with greenery at the bottom, whatever you'd like to be around the base of your candle. And then when I'm looking at this candle here, I'm I'm going to slide this up. I'm seeing at the center as it begins to melt, that liquid at the center in a similar form. Got ellipse there. And then the wick itself coming up. And then our candle flame, that is an irregular shape, right? It gets to dance and move and do as it pleases. It gets to grow. And you can think of it as like an almond or maybe a teardrop. And then I'm just going to put sort of a curving line inside of it there. Okay. So now would be the time that I might erase any marks that I sketched in and did not want. Oh, I forgot that I also did have, that I am going to play with, is this watercolor set. So any watercolor set will do. This one just happens to have a purple that I like in it. And then this is a metallics, collegiate metallics. I think it's a Jack Richardson. And I will probably use a little bit of that to play with the flame. These metallics have the mica in them. That gives them the shimmery color. So, yeah. All right. I'm going to start, though, with some colored pencil. And I'm just using, this is the watercolor colored pencil. And I'm just going to come down the side. To give the emphasis to this side. And my light is technically coming from the top of the candle down, but if I'm in a lit room with a candle, then my light source can come from somewhere else. So for the sake of the drawing, my light source is going to be coming from up here, which means this will be light and this side will be dark. So I'm just going to darken that side, that line a little bit more as I come across. And to get it rounded, I need to start pressing a little bit less with the pencil as I move toward the other side of the candle. So I'm just pressing a little bit lighter as I go across. If my light source is from the top, the bottom is going to be darker. So down at the bottom, it's going to stay darker. Sort of generally, I tend to think of it as a kind of this type of shape, I guess, if you want to give the shadow a shape. Now, with journaling, one of the joys is in layering. And so I might work for a little while with this, and then I might switch and add some water, and I might come in with some of my markers. The brush that I'm using is I've got two different water brushes. They're just, I'm dipping them in the water. They also hold water in the handle, and you can, squeeze it out. And then when it lands on this water soluble pencil, it activates the pencil. And I really don't need to go all the way across, because as I activate the pencil, I can drag now the paint is in the water, and I can drag that across. Now everybody's paper is going to respond differently to the tools and materials that you use. So sometimes it does take a little bit of time to get used to what your paper wants. If it wants lots of water or more paint and pigment and less water, that's something that takes a little playing with. And I'm just going to use what's here on the page to bring it up into there. And while that's drying, I'm going to add a little bit of this yellow to the candle flame. And if you're doing watercolors, remember that they should be like a stained glass window or sunglasses. They should be a little bit translucent. So they shouldn't, you're not trying to make it solid. You're not trying to cover up everything. So the fun with the water-soluble markers is, while the paint is wet, you can do this, or you can do it while it's dry. And I'm just going to come in on the dark side and come down. And just like the water activates the watercolor pencil, it will activate your marker. So I can add a little water and soften the edge there if I like. And then so this flare is also water soluble. And I want to have that effect of that darker ring of melting. Now you do risk, well, the back side of this paper. Oh, I can't show you. You do risk sometimes with this that it will bleed through the paper, so you might test it on something first. I'm feeling, I don't know if it's going to work and show up, but I'm feeling the silver gel pen for the candle holder. And again, I'm going to do my shadows on the left side, but I'm going to use these with a little texture. Since the gel pen won't bleed like the water soluble, I'm going to do layers of hatching and cross hatching. A little less as I move across. And I want it pretty solid inside the candle holder. So I encourage you to spend some time just taking your time going through the lettering, focusing on each word. If you need to do it in pieces by line or however, to get the most out of the experience, go in the direction you need. And then I'm going to let this paper dry a little bit with the candle, and I'll probably go back into it, probably with some of the watercolor paint that I haven't used yet, just adding a layer on top, and playing with marks a little bit. So I might have a little bit of texture to dance down at the bottom here. Also adds a little bit of darker value to it. And I encourage you to focus on that word of hope. What does that mean? What does it mean in the candle? What does it mean in your life? What are your hopes for this season? What are your hopes for beyond that? You could choose to write some of those on this page. This is your page, your time. So enjoy spending time with hope. Thank you.